He uploaded another version of it. That thing's so fucking hilarious. I must have watched that 6 times this week. I've been showing it to everybody.
So how was your trip?
Oh, it was so good. I'm so glad I went. So I flew into Austin on Sunday afternoon and met up with my buddy Matt. Matt, I think I've said it a couple times, but a really nice guy. He's got a master's degree in chemistry from Texas A&M, and he's a Southern guy with a really strong Southern accent, and those two don't usually go hand in hand. And then you start hearing him speak about chemistry, and he really is a real life, like Walter White level chemist. He's a bit of a genius with his just off the top of his head knowledge of chemicals and compounds and how they react with one another. And we just sit there in his laboratory, and he has like a legit laboratory, like something you'd see from a movie. And we made 3 different kinds of high explosives there in just a matter of minutes. And we made exploding 44 Magnum bullets in just a matter of minutes. And I'm sitting there jotting, making notes, because I got the same fucking license he's got. I'm like, this will come in handy. Now I know how to make exploding bullets. It's so fucking easy. Like I already ordered the parts. Can
you make explosives with things that I might not be allowed to do it, but like I'm always told, like, oh yeah, this is just fertilizer. Farmers buy it by the ton, and you mix the fertilizer with the other fertilizer, I guess, and suddenly you've got a bomb.
So with ammonia. So
that's how Timothy McVeigh did it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can use ammonium nitrate, and there's a lot of things you can add to ammonium nitrate.
Is that fertilizer?
Yes.
Okay.
It's prilled ammonium nitrate. It's I think it's like 32.0. You know how fertilizers have the 3 numbers for the like nitrogen and whatever the
those science
are.
letters.
Well, anyway, they got the numbers on the it'll be like 20, 20, 20 to indicate what percentage of each thing. But with ammonium nitrate, it's just all the ammonium. It's just all ammonium nitrate, and then the others are zeroed and blanked out. But anyway, yeah, you can buy that stuff anywhere, and it's perfectly legal as far as I know. Don't let me start saying.
Yeah,
that.
Don't get PKA legal advice, but as far as he knows, farmers buy it, you can buy it.
Well, what I was saying is, look up what's legal in your area, because I don't know where everyone lives, but where I'm at, I, as just a civilian, can go order a bag of fertilizer, go on Amazon and buy a bag of aluminum powder, blue aluminum powder, not black aluminum powder, and make my own binary explosives at home for my own personal use, perfectly legally, if I want to.
I didn't know it was legal. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
Can anyone do that, or just you because of
Anyone can do that here in Georgia. That's as far as I'm willing to branch out. But I want to say just about everywhere you can do that. So the other and that's for most binary explosive compounds. It seems he makes an explosive called matinite, which is a couple of chemical compounds that are powder that he puts in a plastic bag, and then he pours nitromethane racing fuel on top and sandwiches it up like a sausage. And it's the same equivalency as TNT. It's pound for pound the same power as TNT. So although he doesn't sell it to civilians, it's perfectly civilian legal for a civilian to make it and purchase it, I think. But what I was there doing is learning not to kill myself when working with explosives. We learned 4 different kinds of detonators, whether you're going to light it with a fuse, or you're going to turn a detonator, or you're going to press a detonator, or you're going to use a non-linear charge where you use like this little tool that uses a shotgun primer to send a little burst of fire through a long hose. There's a lot of ways to detonate things, and that's what I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn like how to order explosives from various manufacturers, who's got the good shit, because some of these guys that have explosive licenses and are just, they only make like one kind of explosive just for blasting, and they only deal in like 1 million pounds at a time, and I need to know who I can call and get like a case of dynamite sent to my house. So I learned that, and I learned a lot of safety stuff, and I learned a lot of record-keeping stuff. And then we went out into the field, and we destroyed ordnance for 2 days, which is taking he receives them from the military, these 40-millimeter grenades, landmines, explosive rounds from artillery guns and howitzers and stuff. And he doesn't blow them up. He uses shape charges to cut holes through them to ensure that there's no high explosive in them. Because sometimes an actual high explosive round gets tumbled into the recycle bin, and he's the guy who's got to be there to safeguard and make sure that, once he signs off, he's signing off that all of this shit I'm sending away is safe, no bombs in there, anything like that. So that's what we did all day. We took these shells that may or may not be like, a 50-pound high explosive bomb. We put our explosive charge on top, prime it, get it all ready, run our wires and everything, get off to a safe distance, and then detonate it. And we did that for 2 days, like I said, in the hot-ass Texas heat. It was...
What percentage of the time is it a round that was live?
We found two. We found two that were live. We probably detonated a total like 15 things, and 2 of them were a lot. And these were things that looked suspicious to us. You know, like we dug through a bigger field of stuff, and we found the things that you could that we couldn't see the inside of them. They weren't cracked open. They didn't have a hole cut in them. Or maybe this particular kind of round is notorious for is it or isn't it? And then one round in particular, we could look on the inside, and it looked like TNT explosive in there. He's like, you see that yellow? That's not a good sign. Let's check this out. And sure enough, when we set it off, it's a lot louder than it should be because we're just putting a cap and a little bit of a small charge on top to like blow up this 40 millimeter grenade. And when I hit the detonator, instead of it going pow like a rifle shot, which is about what a detonator sounds like, it's whoom, and like dirt starts falling from the sky. And I was like, well, looks like we found a good one. He's like, yep, save somebody's life again. And we go back to work.
How big is a 40 millimeter grenade? Is that like a handheld one?
So it's just like it's the noob tube grenade from Call of Duty. It's the one you put in a grenade launcher. I think it uses like a 38 caliber blank in the back and that bursts a copper disc, and that propels this, I think it's like half a pound grenade really far. Like when I've shot them a lot, like the thumper from Schwarzenegger had in Terminator 2. Like we were playing around with one of those, shooting just chalk practice rounds, because when you hit shit with them, they explode in the big orange cloud, and it's like, boom. And the thing fucking keeps going like 3 or 4 times as far as you think it would go. So yeah, those things are heavy and powerful, and just real cool. But we found a hot one, which was interesting. I'd never seen anything like that before. But it was a really, really educational experience, and that was the whole point. It was a demolition class. It was to make sure that I'm not gonna like blow my fucking fingers off or hurt myself in any way, because my fear was, I don't know much about the detonation part. I don't know what kind of cap you use with this explosive versus that explosive. And we learned a lot about that. Everything from caps versus boosters, how to place the cap into different kinds of high explosive. We worked with C4, which was really cool. He's getting these explosives out for the day. He's like, yep, here's a pound of C4. And he like hands me this big ball of C4 the size of a softball. And I'm like, all right, I'm holding this. He's like, here, take these shape charges. And I'm holding all these shape charges. And he's like, all right, now take this explosive tape. And it looks like on the inside of a car door, if you pull it down, that rubbery gasket stuff that's bendy. It's like that, except on the inside is high explosive. So you just wrap this stuff around whatever you want. It sticks to it, and it's a shape charge, so it cuts whatever it's on, and it's very powerful. He had sheet explosive, which is about as thick as like, I don't know, like half those yellow Post-its. I don't know. It's pretty thin sheet that's sticky on one side, but it's high explosive again. So you can just put that sheet on anything and blow it the fuck up. He takes women's panties, puts them on a steel plate, and then puts a layer of thin sheet explosive on top. And when he detonates it, it explodes the pattern of the panties onto the steel, and he makes artwork with that. Like that's his other thing. Like this guy works constantly. So when he's not scrap yarding, doing demo work, or like traveling around doing TV shows, he's been on a couple of Discovery shows. He was on CNN the other day demonstrating how that C4 killed that guy in Dallas. When he's not doing stuff like that, he's making wind chimes out of F-16 ammo and making these little like goblin men out of propane tanks and like artillery rounds and stuff. Yeah. It looks like a little man, but you put a fire inside the propane tank and like his eyes glow and everything. It's like a jack-o'-lantern, like made for war, but it's made out of a propane tank with lots of, he doesn't use a plasma cutter. He just explodes the cuts into it.
Was this one class, or do you have to go back again?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah. See, I told him what I wanted to learn going in, and he did all of that, basically. Like my concerns were, like I said, killing myself. I don't want to, because one of my fears was, man, when I set those charges up, is there a cell phone? Is there possibly a cell phone could interfere, and I just, I'm downrange and I explode because Eric's phone rings, and he's like, yeah, that is a thing. Turn your cell phones off if you're going to use this transmitter and this receiver detonator system. And I'm like, well, I just won't fucking use that. He's like, well, don't. It's useful sometimes. So he shows me, the correct way to use it, and but still, I think initially the first thing I'm ordering Should be able to order tomorrow. He should have me